On this episode of Street Rat Garage, we are bringing back the 1977 Chevy Monte Carlo and getting it ready for Hot Rod Power Tour. So it's been quite some time since we had the Monte Carlo out and running, and it's been stuck up in Alexandria Street Rat Garage Worldwide Headquarters for quite some time. I don't know, a year and a half, give or take, 2 years maybe. It was supposed to go on Hot Rod Power Tour in 2019, and we blew the engine. We didn't blow the engine, it lost oil pressure, and I pulled out the engine to see what the problem was. Well, that never got fixed in time to go to Hot Rod Power Tour 2019. So we set it to the side, we bought another car, and we went on Hot Rod Power Tour. And it's been sitting ever since. Yanked the engine out, we were gonna do LS swap, we were gonna do Hellcat swap, we're gonna do all kinds of things, which we will get back to eventually, but we need to get this out on Hot Rod Power Tour 2024. That's how long it's been. It's 5 years, and it's just sat, and I haven't done anything with it, like a lot of projects. So I brought it back here to my house so I can work on it. Just a little bit at a time as I run in and out of the house. So 10 minutes here, 30 minutes there, a couple hours there. We're gonna get this ready, and we're going to Hot Rod Power Tour. Now, since it's been sitting so long, the first thing we need to do is get it cleaned up. And I just got this brand new, never used power washer. Troy built 3400 max PSI at 2.4 max gallons per minute. Never even fired this up. I just assembled it, and we're gonna blow all the dirt off of this thing and make it look a lot better since it's got to sit outside in the neighborhood. I can't put it in the garage because it's actually too long to fit in my garage without taking the back bumper off. So let's get to cleaning. Okay, she started right up, and what I like about this pressure washer is it has throttle control. You can idle it and then you can turn it up without it running full blast all the time. So let's get some of the dirt knocked off of this monster. It's been a while since it's had a bath. And it's been a while since we've done a time lapse. So let's play a little music right about here and get this thing cleaned up. All right, well, that looks 100% better. Well, it looks 25% better, but it's clean. You can really see the ground in dirt, and especially on the hood. It was really in there. The hood's fiberglass, so it had some stains, let's say that. So, I mean, the whole car needs to be sanded down, and I would like to put it in that satin black like that's on the front. So, but first we got to get it running. I mean, it does run, it needs some brake work and a few other things, but let's pop the hood, see what we have going on under there first. I sprayed the engine down pretty good without even opening the hood, so there's some hood alignments that needs to be done. This is the engine that came out of the '69 Chevelle. I have a video on that. I'll put a link somewhere there, and you can go back and watch me pull the engine out of a Chevelle, '69 Chevelle, and put in this car. The Chevelle, this wasn't the original engine to the Chevelle, so I just put this engine. This engine actually came out of, I think a 71, 72 Chevy truck, which then came out of some sort of square body truck. So we don't know a whole lot on this engine. It's been around the block a few times, but it runs good. On the last video, we got it running. We took it around the block, but there was something wrong with the distributor. Oh yeah, the vacuum canister, it does this, and it just throws everything out of whack. So it advances and retards the timing all the time while you're going down the street. makes it run terrible. So we need a new distributor. The carburetor has a leak. I think it's coming from the accelerator pump. So we got to fix that. We got to fix this wiring so our fans work properly. We don't have a power steering pump. We got to fix that. We got a brake leak in the caliper somewhere. Wow. What else do we have to do? We're gonna have to make a list. And there's also a bunch of stuff to do on the inside of the car. These seats, I don't know what we're gonna do with these seats. Swivel bucket seats though, isn't that cool? Not the original swivel buckets, but this is what I had in it before, swivel buckets. We gotta fix up the console. Carpet, I think I have carpet somewhere. I can't remember. I thought I bought carpet for this car. Back seat is all yucked up. I got a new back seat for it. Oh, fuel delivery system. There's a fuel cell in the trunk. We got to fix that up. Oh, gauges, radio, weather stripping, panels. How long do we have? Like 4 weeks? It's gonna be tight. But yeah, stuff in the trunk too. Fuel cell. So I put a fuel cell in here and I've never hooked it up. I don't think so. No, I don't think I ever hooked it up. So we got lines to run. We got fuel pump to install. Yeah, we got a vent. All that fun stuff. So yeah, we got to work back here. We got to work in there. We got to work under there. We just have a lot of work to do. So I'm gonna spray around on the car a little bit more underneath the hood. Maybe I'll spray out the whole interior with a power washer too. It's pretty nasty in there. So yeah, I'm gonna get started. We'll come back and we'll see if this thing will still fire up. All right, the first thing I'm gonna do underneath this hood is I'm just gonna hook everything back up and make sure this is still running. It wasn't running well, but I just want to make sure nothing has changed. We need to fix the distributor problem, but just want to make sure everything is how I left it originally. So I hooked up the battery here. Let's just give this a whirl around and see if she'll start up. Okay, I got the fuel pump hooked up. Give it a couple pumps here. Oh, that starter is loud. I'm gonna have to shim that. Well, almost. There she goes. Yeah, it sounds good at idle. But once you, I don't know if you can hear that, but it's it doesn't sound right once you start giving it gas. And the vacuum advance is supposed to kick in. So, but it's running, so that's good. Nothing has changed. We just need to get in there and fix up that distributor a little bit, and then we need to fuel with the carburetor and get the fuel system in order, and it should be good to go, at least to move on its own. Okay, what I really want to do here is I want to pull this distributor out and reset it. I like to have my distributor clocked to where this battery tack is just pointed straight out in the that direction, off towards the driver's side, and my vacuum canister about right in this position to give you plenty of play so you can adjust the timing up real quick. Right now, the way it is, it's sitting right up against the dipstick. Plus, you know, I showed you before that this vacuum advance isn't vacuum advancing the way it should. Of course, it's not even hooked up, but still it's rattling around in there and throwing everything off. So let's pull this out. Set number one. I think this is number one. I like to have my number one right here. First spark plug after the tack battery inserts, and all the way over here. So let's pull this distributor out, reclock it, set it back down in there, and hook her back up the way she's supposed to be. So I brought back a few of these HEI distributors that I have lying around, and we're just going to choose the best one and hope that it's still good. It should be. These things there's hardly anything that ever goes wrong with them. They're just so simple and easy to use, just like the other one had that loose vacuum canister. We could probably get in there and fix that. It probably just has the screws loose or lost on it, but I could just clean this one up, pop it right on there, and be ready to go. Always hang on to these things if you see them at yard sales or whatever. These old ones, so much better than the new aftermarket ones. I'd use this over the brand new one any day. I'm just gonna pop this cap off and see what we have going on inside. Make sure everything's, oh, good there. So let's have a look inside this real quick. So everything just plugs right into the top of this cap with this one clip right here. And that's it. It just connects the coil to everything, and then there's one more lead for your battery if you're not a GM guy. If you're a GM guy, you already knew this. But everything seems to be in order and looking good. Our ignition switch, our pickups, our magnetic pickup on the inside, everything looks nice and clean in there. Now what probably happened is there's a couple bolts right here on that other one that probably just came out. I mean, we might look in there, we might be able to just drop another couple bolts in there and fix the one that we have and save this one for another day. But let's pop that other cap off and have a look inside of that distributor. Now the fun thing about working on these old 70s GM cars is you pretty much have to crawl in the engine bay to get to the stuff at the back. But there's plenty of room in here for you and all that other stuff. So let's have a look here and see what's going on with this. Nope, it's not the screws. The vacuum canister actually came loose from the mount, and I think that was sort of riveted on. So we're gonna have to pull this guy out. We can still use parts or even still fix this later on down the road. It's just gonna be easier to swap it out for right now. So let's get that done. Now, to make my life a little bit easier, I am just going to roll this around to number 1, top dead center, to where it's pointing right at number 1, and use my timing marks right there. So we already know this starts and runs, so we already know that if we just point it at number 1, we're going to be pretty much at top dead center there. And we can just pop our old distributor out, set it in, and point it at our wherever we want it, our number 1, set our new number 1, and that the engine's going to already be at top dead center on number 1. So then we can just tune it in from there. So that'll make it a lot easier than popping it out, rolling the engine around, and looking for the compression stroke and all that other fun stuff afterwards. So let's get this distributor out of here. Okay, it's loosened up and ooh, oily, and that guy is out. All right, let's have a look at this thing and see where the failure point is. So as you can see right here, that is our problem. Now this is riveted or sort of spot welded. I don't know what it is because it doesn't go all the way through the canister. So however that's attached, heat welded on there, it's popped loose. And you can see this is how much it advances or retards the timing. So it's just bouncing around in there, moving the timing all around, and we're not getting definitely not getting a good set, even with the vacuum not hooked up. It probably would have been better if the vacuum was hooked up and maybe it had been sucking itself in there and still advancing the timing. But we could just undo these 2 bolts and pull this all apart and replace just this unit, but I don't want to, and I have another part. So let's drop in the other part and get this thing started back up again. Now before we drop our other distributor in there, we're going to want to we're gonna have to move the shaft there a little bit. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it, it's so dark in there. But it's down there and it has a slot in it. So we're just going to stick our screwdriver in there and we're going to turn it counterclockwise to about where two spark plugs would be. So it's advanced about to here. I want to move it about 2 inches back. So I have number one, well, number one's already right here, but where my distributor sits, parallel where I want it there with that battery terminal connect facing towards the passenger side. So my number one's right there, and we have adjustment. So I'm just gonna stick this guy right here. I'm gonna move it a little bit, and we'll be good to go. Okay, this is not the easiest thing to do on one of these cars. Don't drop the screwdriver. Don't drop it. Let's turn it a little bit. There we go. That should be close enough. And our new distributor, our new old distributor in there. Make sure that your one is pointed in the new direction that you're going to want your number one at, because that should be where the oil pump drive shaft is located. And wiggle it right down and right. Just drop it in there, like, oh, there it goes. Was that 4? Was that 4 or 5 tries? I don't remember, but there she goes. And as you see, number one is pointed right out there, about right where the cap should be now, and I got more adjustment to tune in that old distributor there. So nice. Let's get this buttoned up and see if she'll start again. Okay, I think we got everything buttoned back up here. Got our battery wire on. Got it set to where about, I think, number one is, and we have it set at top dead center. And we have our distributor just snugged down just a little bit so we can still turn it. And yeah, let's see if it'll start now. First try. Okay, let's give her a crank. Oh, that sounded awful. Oh, she puttered. Yep, we're close. I really have to shim that starter before I tear something up. If I tear the teeth off of that flex plate, I am going to be very upset. It sounds like it's a little bit retarded. Maybe I'm going to advance it just a hair and see if that helps. Okay, let's try that again. Well, a little better. Did I advance that or did I retard that? Oh my gosh. Let's give it a little more. Okay. Try again. I'm either doing it right or I'm doing it wrong. Definitely doing it wrong. Okay, that sounds like it is not getting better. It sounds like it's getting worse. So did I advance it or retard it? Advance is counterclockwise. I turned it clockwise. Yeah, that was on me. I'm standing, I don't know what happened there. So I retarded it when I wanted to advance it. So let's go the opposite direction a bunch. So try that again. Okay, let's try it this time. Oh gee, when you turn the distributor the correct way, it actually works. Wow, you know, I would have looked like a hero if I had, did it right the first time. Yeah, well, that's how you learn. I'm just hitting her with the old timing light here, and I put in about 7 degrees and about 32-ish degrees. My everything's painted orange. It's a little bit hard to see. I should have marked it, but it's definitely sounding a lot better. There's just a hair of stumble, and I can probably cure that with a little carburetor adjustment there. So definitely sounding way better. So We just need to adjust up the carburetor and we should be good to go. But we're gonna plumb in the fuel system so we can get rid of that clickety-clack boat tank thing. And maybe we can finally get this out for a good test drive here shortly. Okay, with the timing issue, distributor issue squared away, it's time to plumb up this fuel cell that I have here. I went and got a few panels that were up at Alexandria Street Rack Garage Worldwide Headquarters, and we'll have to put those in too, but I just want to take a few of these out of the way. I guess we're going to go with a maroon interior instead, but this is what I'm looking for right here. I had a couple lines made up, and I'm using this nylon instead of this this metal mesh junk. This is old school, it's outdated. The red and the blue fittings are also, you know, old school and outdated, but it looks a lot better with the black, wrapped in black with the red and the blues. Plus these are going to be underneath the car and you're not even going to be able to see them. So once we get up to the engine bay, we'll probably go with the black. This is the fuel line I'm gonna lead up to the carburetor with. These are -10 fittings here, some big thick line, just to go from the tank to the fuel filter to the fuel pump, all that fun stuff. And then we'll come out of the fuel pump with a little bit smaller stuff, but I want to make sure to feed everything with the big line. We can always upgrade later. This is a stock 350 with an intake and carburetor on it. We're not going to need that much. So let me plumb these on here and let's get started on this fuel system. Make this run on its own. Okay, here's our underside. And we're going to have to go from here, the tank. We're going to plumb it into this fuel filter right here. And then I just started putting the pump in, and it shouldn't be hanging by these wires. I had it pushed up in there. Well, yeah, you see what happened there. I didn't have that tight enough. So hopefully I didn't break any wires here, but we got it grounded. We got a positive run. And there's the new rear end that I put in like 2018, 2019, something like that, when I was getting it ready for a Hot Rod Power Tour the last time. So this is like a 342 P-track. Actually, it's a mini spool. It's a mini spool inside there, so it's going to be, oh, man, I forgot about that. It's going to be rough turning these big old tires on that mini spool. And our brake lines are all new, and our turnbuckles on our arms there, those are all new. Our exhaust that's wired up, just hanging there right now, just for looks. So let me let's see which one goes here. Not that one. So this guy is going to go here and then go to here, I guess. Or is that for that one? I don't know. One of these. I think that one goes there. Yeah, and that one goes there, like that. Okay. I got to get me a fitting here and screw this guy on, and then we'll start getting fuel up there. So it is the next day, and I've been plumbing some of the back. Then I had to do some measurements and go to Earl's Fittings to have the line cut and get some fittings put on our line. And had to buy some more fittings, another fuel filter, and just more stuff. It's always something when you're plumbing a car. You sort of have to do it piece by piece sometimes. A lot of trips back and forth to Earl's Fittings. Now, if we have a look underneath the car again, we can see what we put on here. So I went ahead and added this line that's going right to the filter, out our big filter, into our fuel pump. We got our fuel pump nicely secured there. Our ground wire, I forgot to wire up the fuel pump, so I'm gonna have to put a wire up that. And what we're gonna do on the back side here, right there, we're gonna run the dash. This is where I'm gonna run a -8. I'm gonna run a -8. So I got 10 on this side. Then we're just gonna come out of the fuel pump with an 8. Run it the entire length of the car, all the way up, pretty much to the fuel regulator. And then even we're gonna run -8 out to the carburetor as well. So we'll just have to deal with two different size lines, -8 and -10. I also have the fuel pressure regulator mounted here, and we got our -8s coming out. So we're gonna feed it -8 coming up, and then -8 going out to our carburetor there. I went and got some fittings here. This is our old junk line that we had on it before. This is from some other carburetor, and well, this is going to be our fancy new stuff here from Earl's Fittings. Yeah, you always get the nice stuff when you go to Earl's. I'm pretty sure all this stuff is made in the USA too, so good quality fittings, not the cheap imported stuff. And of course you do have to pay the price for this stuff, but it looks good and it's going to function good. And that's what is important. So what we're going to do is we're pretty much going to, like I said, eliminate that by using these. So we're using two -8s going into the carburetor here. We can get these screwed in here, and then yeah, and then we find out the -8 does not fit because it won't clear our fuel bowl screw right here. I tried everything to get this in. I couldn't screw it in because this was in the way, so I took it out, screwed it in, and now I just can't get it back in. So we're either gonna have to just go with the 6, or we're gonna have to bring this 8 out a little bit further to clear this. So that's not good. So it looks like we're gonna have to make another trip. Now, pretty much what I wanted to do, I screwed this fitting on here just to see if this is gonna fit, but I wanted to bring this fuel rail down here, run 8 nylon line from here to here, then one at the back, and then another one from this line to this line. So I don't know if that's gonna make it, if I extend this out, I don't know if it's gonna make it too long that I can't get a line to fit in here. If I bring it down another inch, that might be too long already, but trial and error. That's what we're gonna have to do today. All right, I'm back again from Earl's, and I bought this extension fitting. This one goes and replaces the brass bit that goes into the carburetor, and as you can see, it's longer, and it already has the -8 fitting on it, so now no need for this or this. Now the question is, will it be long enough, or will it be too long to fit our fuel rail? So we're gonna put this guy on here, and I'm gonna take this fuel rail, I think it goes, let's see, out that way, here, it'll sit about here, and oh, where's that other piece? This guy. So we can take this one off now. Then we'll put this guy here. It's gonna make it a little bit longer, and I'm just concerned that it's not gonna fit well. And then we're gonna need some fuel line. We're not using this fuel line, we're just gonna mock it up to see. Oh man, that's gonna be, well, this one doesn't, this might be an issue, but something like that is going to be really close to the valve cover, so I don't want too much heat transfer. But I'm concerned about the back one. Is the back one going to be too big? Because I'm going to need an extension. I can't just put one of these in, which would be ideal. So let me try to mock that up. We'll come back and see what it looks like. Okay, yep, definitely a problem. The lowest I can get it is right there. So what can we do? I wonder if they have something that sort of 90-ish degrees or 45 degrees up. I mean, can we lay it like this? Maybe. Good question. I already have an adapter, a spacer on the carburetor, so I can't put a bigger one on there. I'm gonna run out of room for hood clearance if I put a breather on it. So that is the dilemma. So close, yet so far away. So what can we do there? So we're just gonna run an 8-8 line from there to there. Can I cut this back a couple notches and just run a straight in there and couple it together? I mean, I guess I could do that, but definitely gonna have to take another trip back to Earl's. Good thing it's such a fun place to go to. Back again from Earl's Fittings. I went ahead and exchanged those fittings with a barbed end on them for a female ended one that we can just put into a double nut flare. Double nut flare, is that the right word for it? Anyway, I'm going to screw these guys in here, and this end is the female end, this is the male end. So instead of the barb fitting, I forgot the washer. Let me grab that real quick, and we'll put this together and see if the third time's the charm. Is it the third time or the fourth time? I don't even know. It's a lot of trips back and forth. The good thing about working with your local shop is you can just keep going back and forth until you get the right part. Ordering it from Amazon, eBay, wherever, you buy the part, you're kind of stuck with it unless you're just gonna send it back and wait another 3 or 4 or 5, 7 days in order to get it back again. And this way I can just run right down the street and grab a new part, stick it on there, and try again. So hopefully this one will fit on there. So there's 2. Now what do we have to do? We have to turn it to go into the regulator. Okay, there's still problems here. I had to take the filter off. I had the filter in line here. Now that's making it too long to go into the bin before I hit the firewall right here. So I should be able just to take the filter and put it here, which makes it too long for the regulator. But the regulator is just bolted through the firewall. Say I've already moved it once, so nothing wrong with just shooting it out again and, you know, put a few more holes in the firewall, which all this garbage will come out one day anyway, so we're not worried about this panel right here. We'll make this look nice another time. So we'll put the filter in here, run it in line with the regulator, so we have a filter, a secondary filter. This is the second one. We already got the one in the back, so move this over, and that will not change the length of our line that's coming up. It's not going to really be any longer. It's just going to move it from here to here, same length. So yeah, okay, let's get that done. Okay, something like this, there to there to there, filter, regulator, boom. This is not a very good regulator. Did I say that already? It's one of those Holley ones. It has a Holley name on it, but it's an import with a Holley name on it. Not great. We'll change it out later since we're making all this nice. We'll get to the regulator. Let's just make it run right now. So that's a good thing about using all these jigsaw puzzle fittings. You can move them around. So if it doesn't work this configuration, switch it around. It's still doing the same thing. I think it would look cooler in line there, but we just don't have the room in between the firewall. So we're gonna do it this way. Let me get the line up and in, and we'll be close to finishing up our fuel system. This is it, the final connection. I'm snaking this main line up, and I'm picking up this piece that I dropped down here. and I'm dropping it again, but it went all the way to the ground this time, so it's okay. So this is my 8N line coming all the way up from the fuel pump. So this is the final connection. I haven't bolted this down yet. Actually, I will be taking this entire thing back apart and putting the thread sealant on it. It'd be sad if this last one doesn't screw in there, wouldn't it? Get on there. Okay, there she goes. Had me worried there for a minute. Just wasn't quite lining it up correctly. It happens sometimes. And just like that. Now I need to, like I said, go through, take all this back apart, and putting the thread locker on where it needs to go. Some of these are tapered. Actually, these are tapered. It's just, I have thread sealant there and there. And these are tapered. These are tapered. So actually, I'm good all the way here. So, no, I'm good. Never mind. I don't need it. These are tapered seats. So, we're all set there. Okay, well, nice. So that's going to wrap it up for our fuel system. Now, in the next episode, we're going to deal with the brakes and why they're locked up for no apparent good reason whatsoever, and leaking. They're locked up, but they're leaking for some reason. I don't understand that at all. So that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Street Rag Garage. Until next time.